Okay, everybody. I have something really cool to tell you about. If you haven't heard yet about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain here. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one single place. Now, the way that you can do this is you got to download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm, and then you can get started. It's really fun. We just switched over recently here at All Too Real 2, and I'm enjoying it so far. So be sure to check it out and let us know what you think. Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is
Matthew. Potato Head is gender neutral now, and that means that it's the end of all civilization. Haas.
It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine.
I feel fine. No. Fiona? I don't know.
Don't be feeling Fiona without her permission, okay?
I was trying to do like a gender name. No, that sounded bad. I feel Fiona. No. That's not good.
So, today on the show, we are covering the latest episode of Wandavision, which aired on February 26th, 2021. It is entitled Previously On. It's the 8th episode, and it was directed by Matt Shakman, who has directed every episode of the series. It was written by Laura Donney, or Dooney, Donney, Donnie, I guess? Donnie? I don't know, whatever her name is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. So, first off, I just wanted to ask your initial thoughts of the episode, Matt.
Oh, man. I love this episode. This was my favorite. Episode 5 is, probably one of my favorites, but this one is definitely my favorite episode so far of the series, not season, because it's only a one season show, and it was only intended to be a one season show to go directly into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
Which, kind of makes it special in the sense because, it's only meant to be one season, so you get what you get, and you cherish it.
Yes. And then you keep it down in the cockles of your heart forever.
Yeah.
The sub cockles of your heart, even.
Yeah. I mean, and not just the episode too, but I've watched every episode 3 times. That's pretty much the number I go before we do the show. I just to get enough. Not just memory, but just a sort of overall understanding of what happened throughout the episode. And, I wanted to watch this one more than 3 times, actually, but I didn't have the chance to do it. But as I was watching this episode again earlier today, I was thinking that I honestly think I say this every time Marvel does a movie or whatever, but like I think this time it's actually true. I think this is the best thing Marvel has ever come up with, like throughout all the, like even better than Endgame. I think this show is literally the best. Like the MCU is like outdone itself. I don't know if they could even do better than this, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Falcon and Winter Soldier has a lot to live up to, in my opinion.
The thing is, that was supposed to come out first originally, but because of COVID and everything, I think it got pushed back or something. So WandaVision is actually supposed to follow this, but I don't know. Now, like you said, it's got. I mean, I'll watch that too, but like I'm not. I don't think I'm going to like it. I mean, to be honest, I'm not. I like Falcon as a character, but like he wasn't really in the movies enough for me to kind of grow attached to him, if that makes any sense. So,
but then seriously, actually, though, Vision and Wanda weren't either.
True, but like I might just like their powers better.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
Well, he doesn't even really have powers. He's just got
Who's that?
Falcon. He just has a suit.
Yeah, he doesn't have any. Yeah, that's the thing too. Falcon doesn't even have the super strength that Cap had.
I like Winter Soldier though. He's a good character. I mean, I do like Falcon too. I mean, I think basically what these shows are doing, especially if this is any indication here, WandaVision, is that they are giving us more of a, like maybe not a backstory per se, but somewhat, but a way of connecting with these characters more than we were able to in their small appearances in the movies.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly, because that's really cool. And, and plus, too, I just like Wanda because of her powers. I like the magical stuff and, like, the Mind Stone. And plus, too, I got a weird thing for, like, Soviet-style countries. Like, I love that aesthetic, like, so the country she comes from is, like, a fictional country.
Yeah.
Called Sokovia, but it's really probably based off of, like, Yugoslavia, kind of like those countries or whatever. And plus, too, she actually kind of looks like someone I went to school with, like high school, sort of a friend of mine. So it's like, I see her, I kind of reminded of that person a little bit. So, it's kind of a weird, yeah.
Yeah, I like the show. I think both Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany are like amazing actors, and the whole cast is. So, needless to say, I love this episode too. I think it's one of my favorites. I don't know it's hard to say what my favorite is. I only watched this episode once because I was busy with other things. And so I only had time to watch it once before we started recording. I'll probably watch it again later. But I did ask, again online, of our fans, what they thought of the episode, and we got a bunch of responses here.
All right.
Amber Dawn said, it's such a wonderful musing on love and grief. Beyond its obvious MCU thrills, Catherine Hahn is truly a treasure. Paul Bettany may have been trolling us hardcore, which he's talking about how he keeps saying that there's going to be a big reveal of a character he's been wanting to work with for a long time, an actor he's been wanting to work with. And we can get more into that later.
Yeah.
Jacob Scarberry said, I like the little glimpses of Marvel horror, nothing crazy, but I think it gives us a small glimpse of the type of thriller horror we might expect in the next Doctor Strange film. I guess I don't have a good reason, but from the very first episode, I felt like the show was going to be what brings us into the multiverse. I think it will be a very important stepping stone, and I think the glimpses of horror-esque helps support that theory. I also could see mutants being introduced in the series, maybe right at the end, would be a good opportunity to open that door.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, I should probably address that episode 8 was a badass take on A Christmas Carol. You have good writers and cast when they can recycle a story like that and make it feel like new.
Yeah, absolutely.
Christopher Seibert said, I like how they effectively retcon the MCU by saying that Wanda had her hex powers back when she was a child to prevent the bomb from going off. Mm-hmm. And what the Mind Stone supercharged, and that the Mind Stone supercharged her. So that means Wanda is the first official mutant in the MCU. Mm-hmm. So now that X-Men... So now that the X-Men or the mutants can be brought into the MCU. Natalie Brown Bostelman said, I love this slow burn. We're starting to get the payoff of the reasons as to why. Wanda dealing with her grief in this way is clicking the puzzle pieces into place. Dave Haas said, a great show. Agatha is one badass witch defeating all of the coven. So, there we go. And
that's my dad, by the way.
Yes. So we got that going on. I think there might have been more responses somewhere. If I didn't get to yours, I'm sorry. Because I put that up in several places, but those were all the ones in our group chat. Which if you like this show, you can go on Facebook and you can join our Facebook podcast group. It's all too real 2 podcast group is what it's called. So join us in there and we can discuss all of our episodes and anything else you want to talk to us about. You know, you could tell us what your favorite flavor of ice cream is. That'd be okay. Mine is chocolate chip by Haagen-Dazs. I also like caramel sutra from Ben and Jerry's. That's good. Nice. That's good stuff too.
I like Neapolitan, and I like cherry with cherries. That's probably my favorite ice cream.
Nice. So, in this episode, Matt, what do we got going on here in this episode?
Oh, man. So much to do. So, it starts off with, a little recap, what happened, throughout the various episodes. And then, when it goes through the Marvel thing, it changes from red to purple, which is Agatha's kind of magic color. And then it goes into 1693, so a flashback where Agatha's being dragged through the woods to be, put on some kind of a trial or whatever. And she's, pleading with the people and, they're just carrying her forward. And they put her up, against like a pole. And they, you're led to believe like this is some kind of like Salem witch trial type of thing or whatever. But then the person like magically binds, her arms. Okay, so okay, well there's magic involved, so that's not going to be, the Puritans or whatever. And then this woman who's like the leader of the group, she, asks her if she's a witch, and she says, yes, I am a witch. And it says, yet you have betrayed your own coven by stealing knowledge above your age or station and rank. And she, denies it. No, it's not true. And then the woman says, enough deception. And then she, she admits to it and says, well, it's not her fault. She was just, wanted to learn or whatever. And they say, no, you practiced the darkest form of magic. And then she kind of like has like this sort of like a half smile on her face, like she's been caught, but she doesn't really care. She says, I have not broken your rules. They simply bent to my power. And she like has like the smirk on her face. Like she knows what she's being caught for, but she doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly.
She's, doesn't think. And she's done anything wrong. What's that?
I said exactly. Yeah.
What's that?
I just said exactly. Yeah.
She doesn't think. Yeah, she does not think she's done anything wrong. So, she pleads with them, and you can tell she's faking it. She's not being sincere. She just wants to get out of the situation. Like, she's trying to plead with the woman. She calls her mother. I don't really know if she actually is her biological mother or not. It could be, but it could be like a witch thing. Like, maybe she's the leader, so she's the mother of the witches. Maybe we'll find out later on that if she really is, her mother or not. But so they start, chanting Latin, and they're kind of like firing up their hands, to basically like, shoot her with their power. And someone, I think it was Eric Voss from New Rock Stars, had a video recently.
Yeah.
Where he said that the Latin chant actually means like kill the monster or something like that, or she's a monster.
Oh, okay.
Destroy it or something like. So they're literally calling her a monster that needs to be destroyed because she's practicing dark magic. It's really dangerous and vile stuff. And we see this a lot in a lot of stories. Where you've got like the good magicians versus the bad ones. Star Wars 2 is pretty much like that. You've got this sort of corrupting.
You got the Lord of the Rings is like that too.
Right, and it always has to do with power. It's the dark force, dark side, dark magic. It always promises the person more power, and also to not just more power, but that you do it faster. You don't have to spend the years just to do a little bit of magic. You pretty much go through like a seminar style. You just get all the information all at once and try to do what you can, as fast as you can do it. So they start shooting at her with like this blue kind of flame stuff from like all sides, just hitting her. And, she's, screaming in pain and stuff like that. And eventually, though, this purple stuff kind of starts coming out of her, and it starts like going through the blue, basically kind of like in Harry Potter when Harry's facing off against Voldemort with the two wands, and then Harry's red is just going further to Voldemort's green until it just goes to the tip of Voldemort's wand and he's defeated. Well, that's kind of what happened. And so the purple starts overtaking the blue, and it's actually sucking the life out of all the witches, like literally, like it's just making them like they're like 100 years old or whatever. And then her mother, she kind of flies up in the air, and then she like shoots her blue flame at her, and Agatha eventually defeats her, and she's like please, I could be good, like she's just faking it. And then her mom's like no, you cannot. And then Agatha eventually kills her too, and then she just kind of like shakes off a little bit of dust off her clothes or whatever, and just kind of walks all triumphant or whatever, and she steals that brooch that she's been wearing throughout the whole series, because that was her mom's, and then she just takes it. Then she just flies off, and then we get to the scene from that ended last episode where she's holding Senor Scratchy, and then it just kind of begins from there. So what else happens?
Right then we've got we basically get in the present day. Agatha starts to interrogate Wanda, demanding to know how she is controlling Westview, and then she's like threatening Tommy and Peter's lives. Not Peter, Tommy and Billy's lives. I don't know why I said Peter. I was thinking of Pietro. Tommy and Billy's lives, and she takes like a piece of Wanda's hair and then does a whole Christmas Carol type thing where she takes Wanda down memory lane. It's she basically forces her to relive key moments in her life, including when she and her brother Pietro were stuck in the rubble next to an unexploded bomb the day their parents died. Prior to that, we do see like them living their life in Sokovia. One thing I wanted to point out is the fact that the young Pietro and Wanda are played by different actors than the ones in the flashback in the Halloween episode.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I think there's reasonings for that, because I think the ones in the flashback are just like fake memories.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so, or something, who knows. But basically, we see in this situation, their dad comes home, and by the way, their parents are not the people in the commercials like a lot of people were speculating.
Right.
Yeah, including myself.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna be, but
yeah,
it just rained. They're probably people from like the town or something like that. Then
something will happen,
yeah.
or so basically, we've got her dad coming home, and it turns out like what he does for a living is he basically sells box sets of TV shows, of American TV shows. He brings home a box of ones that he hadn't sold yet, and we see DVD sets of Malcolm in the Middle, The Addams Family, Dick Van Dyke, I Love Lucy, Bewitched, Who's the Boss, among other ones. And then Wanda, they let her choose which one she wants to watch, and during their night where they're watching TV, they decide to always speak in English, and that's basically how they've learned English. So this is basically explaining why she decided to create sitcoms, because that's basically her way to escape the world.
Yeah.
That she's living in. And from the pain and loss and all that stuff. And it reminds her of her dad. And her mom and brother and everything too, I'm sure. But she chooses to watch an episode of Dick Van Dyke Show, and it's a interesting episode where there's they're watching a TV show in that episode where some aliens are attacking a family and stuff, and so that causes nightmares and stuff for Rob and Laura Petrie in the show. So, anyways, basically, so there's this whole like nightmare, like sort of thing, and Nightmare's a speculated character to be controlling things. Could be just a nod to that, or it could just be coincidental. But anyways, basically what ends up happening is they have to relive the moment. She relives this moment of, while they're watching this, is when, they're stuck in the rubble of this unexploded bomb that hits their house or their apartment. And, the parents die in this memory. Basically through this, we can deduce that, Wanda was born a witch who was able to, in this situation, pull her and her brother out of the rubble using her magic, and so she basically what Agatha tells her is that she was able to use a hex magic as a child. And Wanda's inadvertent use of the simple probability hex to prevent the bomb from going off. So that's how she saved Pietro and her. Then we move on to another memory, where Wanda is being experimented on by Hydra, and she approaches the Mind Stone, and it reacts to her presence, and it basically amplifies her magic, and her, basically, so that, like people are saying, that's basically proof that she was born with these powers.
Yeah.
So she's basically both a witch and maybe a mutant,
She doesn't really know she's practicing magic,
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe she's not. Maybe Agatha, because Agatha, all she knows is magic, so she might just be assuming that that's what it is, because that's what she studies. You know, it could just be something else entirely. You know, she just has these powers. You know, but you know, Agatha spent the past 400 years practicing magic, so she just assumes that's what it is, and she's very, very jealous of Wanda. There's a lot of anger towards her because, you know, Agatha spent, you know, the past 400 years. I mean, she's testing her, you know, in the basement. Sorry, I'm going kind of back further a little bit.
Oh, no, that's fine.
She's testing her in the basement because Wanda first tries to read her thoughts, and Agatha's like, "Oh, that's adorable. My thoughts have never been available to you." And then she tries to, you know, shoot her with her red, you know, power, and she's like, your magic's no good here. Didn't you see all these runes? Mm-hmm. It's a basic protection spell. Only the witch who casts the runes can practice her own magic in here. And she's like, how do you not know the fundamentals of magic? Like, she's just like testing her. Like, how can you do all this advanced stuff when you don't even know like basic shit? You know, like she does a mind control spell on like a cicada and just kind of floats it at her face, you know, to kind of just crawl over her. And she does she takes it back and does a simple transmutation spell to turn it into a bird. And she even says, you know, years of practice just to do a simple, you know, transmutation spell, you know, but yet you're controlling an entire town. Like, you know, and like you could see the hunger in her eyes too, because she's squeezing this bird and you could hear it squawking. And she's like looking at it like, what's your secret, sister? Like, I mean, really, like you could tell like she's eager, but at the same time angry. You know, that because for her mind, Wanda's just like some spoiled brat, you know, who just got, you know, all this power without earning it. You know, like
it's like somebody who can like sing beautifully without any kind of training, you know, and then you know you're a singer who spent their whole life training and can't sing as well as them or something.
Exactly. It's there's a lot of mixed feelings, but at the same time, she needs her. She even told her she needs her. So,
I have a question. I want to know what Agatha's reaction to Jimmy Woo's little card trick would be.
Yeah, I don't think she'd be that impressed.
Are you serious? I thought that was the best magic in this whole series.
I don't think she's registered. The thing is, Agatha, I think her downfall is going to be is that she only looks through the world with magic as a prism. Like that's the only thing. And MC, or not just the MCU, but the Marvel universe is, you know, magic's involved in you know the Marvel comics, but it's not the only thing that exists. So I'm thinking if they do kill her, or if she does lose in the final episode or whatever, I think it's going to be is that she only thinks the only power that exists is magic. Whereas, you know, I haven't read enough of the comics to know, but like I would think that like what people think is magic might not actually really be magic, but they think it is because that's kind of like almost like a religion to them, and that's what they've studied and practiced. So they've learned it through kind of language, so that's what they think it is. But like,
well, magic does exist. I mean, because we know it through like Doctor Strange and other people. That
right,
it
true,
does
but
exist.
He's taking his stuff from different dimensions, though. And I mean, the people that do that, they, as far as I remember, they're actually carrying over energy from other dimensions into ours, which it's interesting because is that really magic though, or is that just energies that exist from another dimension as like normal for their dimension, but like extra normal for ours? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like how in DC where like Superman comes from another planet,
right?
And he doesn't have powers on Krypton, but he does on Earth because those powers don't exist here.
Right, yeah, exactly, like the red sun or whatever. Yeah, so, I mean, again, I don't know, because unfortunately, I haven't read enough of the comics. I want to start getting into that and really kind of get into the details, because it's really, really fascinating stuff. Marvel's just amazing when it comes to all that kind of stuff. But anyway, Agatha's very jealous of Wanda. She needs her at the same time. She even told her that she needs her, and she's very eager. Not just eager, but almost sounds like time is of the essence. Like she doesn't have time to wait. Like she needs her like now. Like my theory for that is the reason why Agatha has lived so long is that she siphons the life out of other people, but also too, in a lot of stories, not just Marvel, but in a lot of stories, is that the more magic you use, it's not an infinite source of power. So if you use magic, you're kind of taking away some of your own life or your own power in the process. So Agatha might be kind of expending like a lot of magical energy, and she can't do it forever. So she might need Wanda to kind of take it from her. I guess maybe my theory that she might be trying to siphon it from Wanda, but at the same time, like that one episode where I think she is those episodes where she seems afraid. I don't think she's altogether faking it. I mean, partly for the show she might be, but I think she knows that outside of her basement, she's really no match for Wanda. I mean, she knows more stuff, but just Wanda's got that chaotic energy that it doesn't matter how much she knows. If she gets angry enough or gets sad enough, she can just blow an entire town into existence. I mean,
Yeah.
So she knows that she really can't beat her on her own. Sorry, that was kind of a weird ramble. But
No, but it makes sense. I mean, basically, she's really jealous of the fact that, like we were saying before, like she's just Wanda's a natural. Didn't have to study to learn this stuff. Some people can act really well without ever taking training. Some people need training to be able to be, Academy Award winning actors.
Right.
And, yep.
And some people, they create the Big Bang Theory. Sorry. Always got to mention that.
But yeah, but you know what? Chuck Lorre did write the theme song to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so.
Yep. So there's that. And,
he's okay in my book. He also created Mom, which is a good show.
That's right. Yeah. So I was going to say that. That's a great show. So, yeah, that's good. Plus two broke girls.
He didn't do that one.
Okay, he didn't do that one. All right. But Darcy, the actor played Darcy. I forgot her name. Sorry. She was in Two Broke Girls.
Yeah.
And I was really hoping so badly when they did the TV show that she was going to be like, because you mentioned that too, that she was going to be like a waitress at like a restaurant from like Two Broke Girls. Like oh God, like they could have.
That was a missed opportunity.
That was a mist. It was like that was a huge meta moment right there. But oh well, the carnival thing was cool. So whatever.
Yeah. It's still cool. Kat Dennings is awesome, regardless.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so then we throughout this trip down memory lane that we're taken on by Agatha here in the world of Wanda's life. Wanda, like I said, she's watching herself being experimented on by Hydra. We then have her relive her first fond memory of Vision, where it's back at the Avengers compound sometime, I think, after like Civil War or something. I want to say. Or was it before Civil War? Because it seems like
before Civil War.
Because I'm not sure. Because I think she was living at the compound after Civil War, because that was when, or maybe during Civil War. I'm trying to think, or maybe it was right before that. Because
I don't remember.
I'm trying to remember because it was either after Age of Ultron, obviously, or Civil War. Because I think during Civil War, after Civil War, because of the Sokovia Accords and stuff, things happened where she was basically confined to the compound.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I only saw that one once, so I don't remember much about that one. But
Civil War is probably my favorite MCU movie.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I don't know why, but I don't know. It changes every day though. So which one's my favorite?
Right. Honestly, I always consider that to be an Avengers movie, even though it's technically a Captain America movie.
Oh yeah, it is. Totally.
I call it Avengers 3. You know, it's like, that's what it is. It's because every movie, every character has to have 3 movies. I guess that's like the rule. So they're like, okay, well, we'll just call that one Captain America 3, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
Because Iron Man got 3, Spider-Man's going to get 3.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the main ones, Captain America gets 3. Doctor Strange, I don't know how many he's going to get because everything got fucked up because of COVID and budgetary stuff.
Thor's getting a 4th, so.
Oh, really? Okay, well, that's cool.
Yeah, because Love and Thunder's coming out soon, which is the name of it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, sometime this year or next year or whenever they decide to release it based on COVID.
Right, and Black Widow's going to come out at some point, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was supposed to come out like a year ago. And,
right. Right, yeah. I really want to see that one a lot.
Do you want to take a quick break here, Matt, and then we'll come back and talk more about the plot?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be right back.
It's the ninja from the Ask the Angry Ninja Show saying, come listen to the show. We got the ninja wife to give you your movie reviews. We got the conscript to give you the ninja news. And we got the battle to talk about your sports. And as always, it is the Ask the Angry Ninja Show. So ask me a question and we'll give you the ninja knowledge you need for your ninja life. Search for us anywhere you get your podcast from. Just search for the Ask the Angry Ninja Show and enjoy the show.
And we are back. I hope you enjoyed those ads or whatever they were.
The Pop-Tart ads or the, or whatever.
Oh, we got the Pop-Tart sponsorship?
The Vision tarts? No, it doesn't make sense. The Wanda tarts? No. No. That sounded bad. Sorry.
Yes, it did.
Sorry. I'm not doing this stuff intentionally today. It's just like happening.
Wanda tarts.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
It's okay.
My mind's not in the gutter. I'm just saying wrong words today.
Words are hard, Matt. You know that?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
So, back to the breakdown of the episode. What do we got going on now? Like she's at the Avengers compound, and we see what basically like kind of the first time that Vision and Wanda kind of connect.
Yeah. So I think I remember this scene, or at least no, a companion scene in Civil War.
Yeah.
Because in Civil War, she realizes that Vision is kind of listening in on her talking to someone. And he's like hiding somehow or whatever. And she says, we talked about this or whatever, that you can't just like spy on us or whatever. Well, we find out the origin of that is that he's like, on the other side of the wall, and she knows, which is interesting. So that could have been an indication that even in Civil War, that they were kind of maybe teasing the idea that she's kind of got some kind of psychic abilities at the very least. Because she calls him out, because Vision, and he kind of just, seamlessly goes through the wall or whatever, and she's like, sorry, I didn't mean to intrude or whatever, and she's like, well, really? And he's like, well, I guess perhaps I did, but I didn't, whatever your preference is, whatever. And she, lets him sit down and watch him, Malcolm in the Middle, which is interesting because episode 6 is pretty much like based off of that show. And like Hal builds like a roof, or like not a roof, but like a, something.
Like an awning or something.
Yeah, like an awning. The whole thing just falls on top of them.
Yeah.
And Vision's like, are we supposed be laughing at this man's grievous injury. She's like, no, it's okay. He's gonna be fine. And he's like, well, how can we be certain? And she's like, it's not that kind of a show. So Vision's, he's very innocent. He's almost like a child in that sense. Like he, no, you know, so, you know, he's not going to laugh at someone, you know, being collapsed, you know.
He's similar to like Data on Star Trek: The Next Generation or something, where he's trying to understand human behavior.
Right, but he's a little bit better in Data because he can sort of figure it out faster, kind of as he. Because he's basically like he's a human computer, is what he is. So like he, unlike Data, I don't think Data ever really had emotions. I don't know. I didn't really watch that show that much, but
he doesn't. You just got to watch, you know, the shows. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta get into that. Yeah. I never really watched that much when it was on here and there, but not a lot.
Next Generation. On a side note, is the best. The best of any Star Trek. So yeah.
All right, I'll start with that then. Yeah. I've watched a few episodes of the original, which are really cheesy, but they're pretty good. But anyway, so he's asking her, you know, all these questions, like, you know, saying like he doesn't really know what it's like to lose someone because he's pretty much been alone, you know, as a consciousness his whole life. So it's all he's ever known. It's not a sad thing. It's just that's how it was. So there's nothing to compare it to, you know, and you know, because she said that, you know, the only thing that will comfort her is being able to see Pietro again. And he says, you know, well, you know, what is love if it's not, you know, what is grief other than, you know, love persevering or whatever? And then he kind of laughs at the show or whatever, and they kind of have like this moment or whatever. So that's kind of like the first time like they ever had kind of like a relationship-y kind of moment, because it kind of had like a lingering smile, and you can even see his smile is kind of like corny, like he doesn't really know how to smile correctly. He's just kind of like, you know, trying to, you know, make it up as he goes along, basically. And but you do have that moment in Civil War though, where he's spying on her. She's talking to someone else. I don't remember who it was, and she's like, Vision, like we talked about this, like you can't just watch people, like, you know, like you need to be in the room or present where we could see you, you know, like, because it's like rude, it's wrong behavior. He doesn't know any better. He's not trying to be rude or creepy or anything like that. He just doesn't know. And and so we have that moment, and then so the big reveal here is that Hayward's a piece of shit that we've known all along, really, since like the 5th episode.
Yeah,
we really know. Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, I mean, she visits. We see when she visited Sword, like right after, to try to recover Vision's body, like right after the blip or whatever, you know, or like right after the events of Endgame, I should say. Basically, she loses her temper and breaks into the compound after trying to speak to whoever's in charge, because she wants to have a funeral for Vision and like bury him properly. Then she goes to she goes to Hayward's office after basically having a little situation where she just opens the door herself. She doesn't need to be buzzed in. She's like, no, don't worry about it, I got this, sort of thing. And when Hayward introduces himself, he calls himself Director Hayward, not Acting Director.
Oh, okay, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I did, and I was just like, what the hell?
And he says his full name though too, Tyler or something like.
Director Tyler Hayward, and I'm like, interesting, because he tells Monica he's acting director.
Huh.
But, you know,
so that's Wanda to make it seem like he had more authority or something.
Either that, or he's lying to Monica.
Yeah,
and that he's totally in charge.
Mm-hmm.
So Wanda, he shows Wanda, like, in Vision's body being like operated on, basically, like being taken apart, which and it appears to be being taken apart like very crudely.
Yeah.
You know, and so we're seeing these points of view of what happened that we saw in that previous episode where we saw the security footage of what we thought was her taking Vision's body. But she just basically goes there and says goodbye to him and leaves. Mm-hmm. She doesn't take the body. Like Hayward wants us to believe. So we do kind of find out that he's basically an asshole.
He's a terrible person. I really hope that he gets killed in the next episode, or at the very least, he's revealed to be doing illegal shit and he just gets thrown in prison or some shit like that. Because I think too. I think he set this up on purpose. Like, he expected that she was going to show up. And he probably told them, like, I want you to just take this guy apart in the most creepy way possible, and just to like show her, like, to traumatize her essentially, because he has an idea of, that's the other weird thing too. He seems to know about her powers before she does, about being able to just said, you know, not everyone has the ability to bring, you know, their loved one back online. And he goes, oh, part of me back to life. And she's like, I can't do that. Like, she has no idea what he's talking about. How does he know that? That's interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll find out somehow he knows the true extent of her powers before she knows. And also, too, before Agatha knows. So if an all-powerful witch like Agatha, who's been alive for at the very least almost 400 years, and she has to kind of tease it out of her to finally figure out what's going on, but this guy knows. Just saying, like, I'm getting some Mephisto vibes. Maybe he's like going deep undercover, like pretending to be a sword agent or director or whatever. Who knows? But I'm just saying, there's no reason he should know that stuff. There really isn't. Because Hydra didn't even know that. So even if he got like secret documents from Hydra about their experimentation, they didn't even know that. And also too, I forgot to mention this earlier. When she was being experimented by Hydra, and the Mind Stone, she removed the Mind Stone from the scepter, not on purpose, and then it like, because it was blue, and then it like broke its shell and it became the yellow color that it normally is, and she has this vision of like a feminine figure kind of floating down with like horns. It looks like the Scarlet Witch costume from the comic books, as well as from episode 6 when they were at the Halloween episode. Yeah. And also, too... Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying, go ahead.
Also, too, when the people at Hydra are watching the tape, it's that jump cut thing that happens again. They don't see what actually happened. They just see her lying on the floor right after...
like she's in control of that. Also, also, people are seeing in that vision, too... If you pause it, there's actually the silhouette of a man at the bottom of that figure of Scarlet Witch.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, so who knows what that is.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like a silhouette that looks like a man, but it could just be the way that the lighting is.
Right.
So I looked this up on Ancestry.com. The last name Hayward, just something... the etymology of the name, it's occupational name for an official who was responsible for protecting land or enclosed forest from damage by animals, poachers, or vandals. From the Middle English, hay or hedge. And ward, or Hayward, which means guardian. So the guardian of hay, basically. Or like an enclosure. And his first name is Tyler, and I just looked this up. I don't know if this means anything, but I just looked up the last name Tyler just to see if that means anything. It's an occupational name for maker of layers of tiles. From an ancient derivative of Middle English, tile. In the Middle Ages, tiles were widely used in floors and pavements, and to a lesser extent in roofing, where they did not really come into their own until the 16th century. Anyways, but, so I don't know.
Wow.
It's interesting. So.
It's very interesting.
But the Hayward especially is interesting because he's guarding an enclosed land.
Right, yeah.
Which is basically what he's doing.
Hedge.
Yeah.
And a hedge sounds a lot like hex.
Yeah.
I know I know the words don't mean the same thing, but it's interesting how they sound similar.
So, there's a lot to unpack there. Anyways,
yeah.
So, what happens? So next thing we see is like when Wanda leaves, like I said, without Vision's body, and she gets into her car, and on the passenger seat there's like a deed to this land. And there's a note on it that says, with a little heart and a V at the end, and assuming from Vision, it says to grow old in. And then she drives to Westview in her car, which has New York plates that at the bottom say Excelsior, which the current New York plates actually say, but that was also the phrase that Stan Lee always used.
Right.
So just interesting little tidbit. There's she gets to the she goes to Westview, and we see like a lot of the characters like Herb and the guy with the mustache. I can't remember his name. He's putting up a sign asking for piano lessons. It looks like the town is basically ravaged by the after effects of the snap, or just, the economy being bad in the world like it is in reality. Kind of hits really hard when we got the pandemic going on and stuff like that.
Right.
But, you see people, and you see like Deborah Jo Rupp's character, Mrs. Hart, whoever her real character is. She's just sitting there kind of looking depressed, sitting, drinking coffee. And other characters throughout the town. We also see the mailman, who everybody had like all these theories about, but he's like a pizza delivery guy.
Yeah, he's like all depressed looking. Yeah, he was not. Yeah, he was just nosy, I guess, is what he was.
Yeah, yeah. So he's probably nobody. It's probably just a red herring. And who knows? Maybe in the next episode we'll find out that he's God or something. I don't know. But anyways, So she gets to the address, and it's basically the foundation of a house that's no longer there. And it's on Sherwood Avenue. And Sherwood Schwartz was the creator of the Brady Bunch. Just little tidbit.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've got that going on. It's just interesting that we see that, and then we see her create the hex, and then basically build from like jigsaw pieces the house there on that foundation. And we also see her create Vision, who seems to be a sentient being. So like he seems to have his own capabilities. So basically, I'm just wondering if she actually created him. Like, is he real? I don't think she's controlling him at all. So
I think he's real. I mean, he came from her mind because, again, too, this episode. I mean, I cried so much in this episode. There's so many emotional moments, and she just broke down. I mean, she just got on her knees, and just sobbing, and then it was just all this grief coming out of her. It wasn't intentional at all. I mean, it was just, and then it just spread throughout the whole town eventually after, the house was built and everything. But yeah, I think it's a real Vision. It's not, the same body as it was before, but since his body was created from the Mind Stone, and then her
powers were enhanced by the Mind Stone.
Yeah, she didn't get her powers from the Mind Stone. It was enhanced, yeah. So really, either way you slice it, whether or not it gets created, the body gets created in Tony Stark's lab, or if it gets created through Wanda's, mutation powers or whatever, either way you slice it, he's being created again. And
I'm just wondering if she like recontextualized the Mind Stone too, did she create a new Mind Stone? Did she find the dust of the Mind Stone and bring it back together? Because the Mind Stone is still out there; it's just in many pieces.
It's possible. Or two, the fact that since she already has, these powers, and then the Mind Stone enhanced it, she might have the ability to actually recreate all the Infinity Stones at some point. Who knows? And plus, too, as we're getting into the multiverse, there might be Infinity Stones in every single universe at this point, which even Thanos may have not even known about, which is a good thing, because then he would try to go to every single universe to collect the stones so that no one could, stop what he was going to try to do, or whatever. So it's interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
So it's interesting because, this is her way of dealing with grief, and it's really interesting to see how they're showcasing grief in a very creative way. So then after this happens, we're back to the present, and Wanda's out of her trance, and she comes outside only to be confronted by Agatha again, who is holding Billy and Tommy captive, and she's got basically these purple magical nooses around their necks, and she's flying up in the air and basically choking the kids.
Yeah, it's great.
Which is creepy.
Controlling her like marionettes too, a little bit, because she's kind of floating above or whatever.
And Agatha mocks Wanda for not knowing the full extent of her powers, and starts saying that she's dangerous, and says that her powers are actually chaos magic. And then she says that makes her the Scarlet Witch. Which is the first time Wanda's ever been called the Scarlet Witch in the MCU. So,
wow.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that, 'cause I always, all my friends and stuff who watch Marvel, they would always refer to her as the Scarlet Witch, so I just assumed that that's what her name was. But yeah, now that I think about it, I don't ever remember them actually ever calling her that. Which again, interesting, just thought about this. Episode 6 it was, I don't remember, where Hayward asks Jimmy Woo, because he's clearly trying to antagonize him by saying Wanda was a terrorist or whatever, and he goes, "Oh, what any kind of funny nickname that she's ever had?" So that's interesting, because who else would know that? Interesting. So I got some vibes that this Hayward's not even Hayward, or if he is, maybe the real Hayward's been kidnapped, or he's using his body, or I don't know.
Yeah, he might be possessed or something. So that's
very interesting. Yeah.
So the last thing we have is a mid credits scene, where at Sword, and we reveal Hayward's Project Cataract. And the original Vision is now white. He's the White Vision, and activated using chaos magic energy from a drone previously destroyed by Wanda. So he basically used Wanda's magic to create him.
Right. So that was his plan all along.
Yeah.
That's why, because he knew that the drone wasn't going to do anything.
Yeah.
Monica really kind of underestimated what Hayward, what his plan really was, which is not her fault. But
no,
it wasn't that he just thought that they shoot enough guns at her, they're going to get her. It's no, he wanted her magic, and he knew that that's what would happen.
Yeah, which makes me keep thinking that he's got to be something else. Whether he's Mephisto or Nightmare, or he's working for one of them, or doing something, you know what I mean? I don't know. We'll have to see what's going on.
something, yeah. Or maybe he's Hydra. That could be it too. He might be just,
I really hope we're done with Hydra.
Oh, really?
Because
I don't even really know much about them, to be honest. Like, I know they're supposed to be like the anti.
Yeah, I mean,
Shield, but like,
they're. I mean, basically, Hydra goes all the way back to like Red Skull and before, and
okay.
so it's like in the first Avenger, Captain America First Avenger even, and stuff, and it's just they're basically like the Nazis of this world in a way.
Okay.
Kinda, they're entangled with the Nazis as well too, but back in the World War II. But there's they're basically the bad guys.
Right.
And but I mean I watched all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the main bad guys in that whole series are Hydra. So it's like,
oh, okay. So you're kind of just burned out.
I'm burned out. I'm burned out on Hydra. Plus, I think they played the Hydra card already in Civil War, So, Winter Soldier. I mean, when we find out that the whole thing with Hydra basically controlling S.H.I.E.L.D. for all these years, and I really hope that they're not controlling S.W.O.R.D. too, because we just got introduced to S.W.O.R.D. So it's like we don't even have time to learn what S.W.O.R.D. is, and then it's like, hey, by the way, we're bad guys. No.
Right, exactly. It's like, all right, how about we get some new bad guys?
Yeah. So that's why I'm kind of hoping it's like Mephisto or somebody else behind the things.
Someone, that would be good.
We'll have to see.
That was his plan all. What's that?
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I didn't hear what you said. You said wait and see. Is that what you said?
I said, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. That was his plan all along. Because he knew that would provoke her to finally get out of the hex at that point, anger her to the point where she's going to threaten them to not mess with her anymore. So, yeah.
Do you want to take our second break here, Matt, and then come back and we'll talk about some trivia and our speculation and stuff?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we'll be right back.
What is Gen X? What is the silent generation? What do generations have in common? Hi, I'm Trish the Dish from the Gen X Voice podcast, and I invite you to listen to conversations I have with folks from different generations, backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences in an attempt to see what connects rather than divides us. Even though Gen X has been called slackers, Karens, or not mentioned at all in some cases, we are the bridge generation, so I feel compelled to do my part to destroy ageism by bringing all these voices together. And, as a bonus, each guest gets to answer some 80s questions at the end of each show. So download and listen to Gen X Voice today on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And let's see how much we have in common after all.
And we are back.
Those were some great ads.
I liked Pop-Tarts again.
Pop-Tarts. Kellogg's Pop-Tarts.
Yep.
The choice of a new generation. Wait, that's not right.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if that's what the ads being played, so it's going to be confusing. But
yeah, I don't think Pop-Tarts are advertising us yet.
They really should. Because the thing is, they don't understand is that we're probably Pop-Tarts' biggest fans ever. Like, I don't know anyone else that talks about Pop-Tarts like as much in the way that we talk about them, like all the time. Like I'm obsessed with them. Like, I haven't had them in a while because being broke and stuff. But I love them. I mean, I can't. I mean, seriously, like,
you hear that, Pop-Tarts? Matt needs more Pop-Tarts.
I do. I would like a life supply that would just be like, I mean, I would be over the moon. Like, if I got like a life supply of Pop-Tarts, geez. I mean, like, ugh. You do so much with them. I mean, you can eat them, by himself, with like a glass of milk or something like that. Also, too, I've done this a couple times. you break them up a little bit and put them in some ice cream. Oh god, that's good.
You know what? I've also seen somebody make an ice cream sandwich out of them.
Oh god!
You take two like strawberry Pop-Tarts and put some ice cream in the middle.
Oh,
and then just eat it like a sandwich.
Yeah, damn, that was good. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm getting hungry now.
Yeah,
might go ahead to go to Walmart and buy some or something. God, yeah, but yeah, Pop-Tarts, please, if you would sponsor us, man. I mean, we would promote the shit out of you every day. I mean, I know you probably like.
We'd just be popping those tarts.
And, yep.
Wait, what?
No, those Wandavision tarts. No.
Wait, that's something's sounding wrong here, Matt. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah. That was just a callback.
Anyways, hold on a second here. So here are some trivia about the episode here. Culled from the Internet Movie Database. Okay, in keeping with the theme, the title uses a term frequently used in TV series. It actually deals with the incidents that happened before WandaVision. Wanda's favorite episode of Dick Van Dyke is Season 2, Episode 21. It May Look Like a Walnut. In the episode, Rob Petrie is having a nightmare and wants to wake up in the episode. So interesting there. The second episode, since episode 4, we interrupt this program not to have a traditional sitcom trope throughout it, so it didn't, mimic a sitcom. Wanda watches Malcolm in the Middle in a flashback. The sitcom also had a story about mischievous boys, just like Wanda's two children. In episode 6, All New Halloween Spectacular, Billy and Tommy accidentally run into Agnes's pants, which read naughty in the title sequence. Agnes is now known to be naughty. Okay. Anyways, in a flashback to the Hydra compound, Wanda is watching Brady Bunch Kitty Carryall is missing, where a doll goes missing. That doll actually appears in WandaVision Now in color, where Vision is using it to practice putting diapers on children. This is the first time in the MCU that Wanda is referred to by her comic book name, the Scarlet Witch, which we've already pointed out. The Vision is revealed with an all-new white color. This had happened to him in the comics. It is revealed in this episode that the Maximoff family was watching sitcoms when the bomb attacked their house. This is contradictory to what Pietro reminisces in Avengers Age of Ultron, where he says to Ultron that their family was having dinner. Their parents went to check if there was any survivors in the debris, but were killed in another bomb attack. But in this episode, they presumably died instantly after the first strike. So interesting.
Yeah.
The flashback to Sokovia reveals that the blinking red light and beeping tone on the toaster in the WandaVision film before a live studio audience commercial is a callback to Stark Industries' rocket that killed Wanda's parents, as we've speculated since the first episode.
Yep.
Basically, it is implied that Wanda's been a witch her whole life. Evanora Harkness, who is Agatha's mom, bears a striking resemblance to what Agatha looks like in the comics. We find out that she didn't steal the Vision's body. So yeah, I mean, this could be that we're basically getting. Oh yeah, one of the funny things in the episode that they're pointing out here is that Agatha dubbed fake Pietro as Fietro, which I thought was funny.
Fietro, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically this is we find out that she's obsessed with sitcoms because of what happened. Okay, so here's one of my things. Okay, the thing where I think and other people are pointing out too that Paul Bettany might have been messing with us about a big reveal of an actor that he got to work with, that he's wanted to work with his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that the actor he's going to be working with is himself. Because he's going to be playing White Vision and regular Vision.
Right. Or we still have one episode left, so it could be,
Yeah.
you know.
No, that's what I'm saying. He hasn't worked with him yet, so it could be in that episode that they're going to work together.
Right. I mean, it could also be a different person too. Just
Yeah,
because,
exactly. We'll find out, but that is speculation that he's been trolling us this whole time.
Well, it's possible. I mean, that's what they do now. I mean, like, because TV is so much more interactive now, especially when it comes to like Disney shows or whatever. Like, that's what I love about new TV is that the fans and like the actors and like the writers, like, we actually talk to each other now. Like, it's weird. It's cool though. It's because it's not like, it used to be where it's like these people live like in a different universe or whatever. Like now you go on Twitter, you might, post something and, someone, likes the tweet or whatever. Like, oh my God, that's the actor from, so they might reshare it, retweet it or whatever. Or have like a little bit of like a small conversation.
Or like even how we've been doing on here, like the interviews with actors and stuff, which has been pretty cool to be able to talk to like, Jim O'Hare or Amir Karangi from, sitcoms that we love and stuff like that. Right. And we're like, hey, you're a real person. You're not just the guy on that show. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. It's really cool.
Well, it's like, I don't know anyways, but, it's pretty cool. But, also, it's interesting how Marvel has a history of basically flat out lying to people.
Right.
Too, so.
Right. Yeah, well, that's what they did with Pietro. It was just totally trolling. I mean, it was like, oh, you want mutants, right? Oh, we finally have the rights to X-Men. Here's Pietro Maximoff from, the X-Men. I forgot which one, but
from the X-Men movies. Yeah, he was on like 3 of them. He was like in 3 of them, 2 or 3 of them.
That's right. He was in Apocalypse, which I hated that movie.
He was in Days of Future Past. I liked Apocalypse, but that's
good.
Just me. But
yeah. Well, I saw Alone, and the trailer. I love the trailer. I was like, oh my God, this is so epic. And then I was like, whatever. I mean, I did like the concept of like an ancient mutant who's like lived, the first mutant.
I mean, it had its issues. I'll give it that. So yeah.
But anyway, trolling, totally trolling.
Yeah, I mean, we still don't know what the deal with we still don't know what the deal with Pietro is. So,
Pietro, I think it's her, isn't it? Didn't Agatha say it was her eyes and her ears?
Yeah, but she didn't. But she said basically it was her controlling. She said it wasn't. It was her kind of is what she basically said.
Oh yeah, not literally. So it was. I got you. Okay.
So he's still a person. It's just we don't know who he is. If he's just some random dude in Westview. Or if he's from another multiverse, or if he, so.
But he was a speedster, though. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So there's something up there. I mean, I'm thinking that I think that he does have the speed, and I think he is probably from another universe.
Something, yeah, or at least maybe Agatha knows a speed spell or some shit. Who knows? But I don't know. I never heard of that magic, like a speed spell. Anyway, now we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, and, yeah, I mean, because it's just interesting how they flat out lie to us on times too. Like they showed trailers with Hulk in scenes of Infinity War that he wasn't actually in.
Oh yeah, I've noticed that before. They do that.
They did that because they didn't want to, spoil anything, and then. And then, I mean, even recently, I can't remember her name, but the actress who is now going to be playing She-Hulk flat out said she didn't have the role, and then it came out a few weeks later that she did. So,
oh wow.
Yeah. So it's hard to say, what's going on.
Yeah.
And then you have like things that they don't want to reveal that, even the actors don't know too, because like, I just read an article the other day because Tom Holland has a history of ruining things. He plays Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They refuse to let him watch Black Widow.
Wow. That's great.
It's like all the other Marvel actors have probably seen the movie, but they won't let Tom Holland see it.
Wow. You'll see it when it comes out.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. Mark Ruffalo does it too, so he's got.
Oh, really?
I mean, he spoiled the end of Infinity War before it came out.
Oh, jeez.
In an interview, not exactly, but there's an interview. If you look it up, it's really funny. Him and Don Cheadle sitting there being interviewed, and Don Cheadle's basically looking at him like, "Dude, what the hell are you doing?"
I wonder if some of these people do it on purpose, even though they know they're spoiling it.
But
like,
yeah,
because in their mind they might be thinking they're actually, who knows, the studio might put it up to them and then make them be the fall guys.
Yeah,
they want to promote the movie, so people will definitely go and see it to see if it's true.
Mm-hmm.
So it could just be like a conspiracy, from the studio, like, hey, I want you to spoil it so that people will really start talking about it, and then we'll blame you for it. But but we're not really blaming you. We're just gonna do it like we know you're good, but we're gonna blame you to everyone else. But we're square.
We're just gonna totally ruin your reputation, man. But that's okay.
Right.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, totally. We're square or hexagonal rather in this case. Ooh, nice little pun there.
So do you have any speculation as to what you think is going to happen next week?
Yeah, at least one.
Okay, what's that?
I think that Hex Vision is going to die, and this is going to be like the third time of him dying, but she's going to actually deal with her grief this time for real, not just like suppressing it or not really suppressing it. It wasn't her fault, but but it's going to be. So I think he's going to die, protecting her from White Vision. That's just my speculation. So I think somehow White Vision's going to make it inside the Hex somehow. I don't know how. And from a little bit of research I did about White Vision in the comics, is that he doesn't really have a moral compass in either. He's not evil or good. He's very cold, and
he's like he's basically a robot. Yeah,
that's why I call him White Vision, because frozen, just like very
blank, blank. Basically,
kind of reminded me of what's that?
I said blank, basically. Yeah,
like a blank slate. Yeah, because even when they showed him, he's just kind of like looking at his hand, like very. Like, not even that curious, just kind of like, because like when Real Vision came to life the first time, he kind of did that, but he had a little bit more spark, like, in his eyes, I guess. Like, this one just was kind of like, oh, I'm alive. Here's my hand. Like, like very, not that interested, really. Like, just sort of like, okay. So I'm thinking he's going to get inside the Hex somehow, and there's going to be a big battle royale between Agatha, possibly the kids. I did see a picture where it looked like the whole family was facing off against Agatha. I don't know if that could just be them lying to us, like you said.
Yeah, I think. See, I think in a way, I think Agatha is not necessarily bad. I think I think we might have a situation where it might be like Hayward and White Vision versus Monica, Agatha, and Wanda.
Okay.
As like a new coven of witches.
Oh wow.
Because you need like 3 to be in a coven, and then there's 3 on that pendant.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And with like Wanda being the most powerful, and now that Monica has powers too, she's kind of like a witch.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's not really witch. It's not magic though with her. It's
But she got her powers.
Kind of is,
but she did get her powers from Wanda. So.
Right, yeah.
Unless she already had them and maybe she's a mutant too, but we'll see.
Right, I don't know. Hopefully they don't do that.
Yeah.
All right, we got one mutant. You don't need to do overkill. Like, like, every person that you've known is now a mutant. Like,
Yeah, if you if you're listening and you want to let us know what you think, go to our group on Facebook and post on there and let us know, your thoughts about what's going to happen. And we will interact with you because we like to do that.
Yes, we do.
Also, just wanted to point out that a recent episode of the Nerdball podcast featured yours truly as the guest. The Nerdball podcast is hosted by Lorenzo Melchor. It's a really good show. He's a great guy. He does a good job hosting that show, and he does a lot of really in-depth interviews with people. He was also our number one fan of the Super Story podcast we used to do. So, kind of sad we don't do that anymore, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. We kind of got too busy with this podcast.
We started doing so many different things. Plus, I was thinking about that just the other day. Actually, I was thinking, like maybe we could talk about that. Talk about like off
air. Yeah.
Off air. I was trying to say the recorder.
Yeah. So yeah. But anyways, he has a great podcast. Be sure to check the show notes. I'll have a link to his show so we can you can subscribe to his show too and listen to it on any of your favorite podcast platforms like the one you're listening to this one on. Anything else, Matt?
Let's see here. I was thinking, it'd be pretty cool if Senior
Scratchy.
Well, maybe Sparky, if Wanda could bring him back to life, that would be cool. But if Senior Scratchy, joins the fight either as a bunny rabbit or maybe is revealed as being something different. Who knows? That'd be pretty cool. Kind of like in Monty Python with the killer rabbit, just starts going after people's throats and bite your throats out. And and they're like, oh, it's just a little bunny rabbit, and shows up, kills the entire platoon or whatever. Not platoon, whatever. I can't talk. But yeah, I would like to just mention too, like I did last week, that my old guitar teacher, Jason Quick, his band, the Quick Quartet, has got a new album coming out. They do jazz music. I know jazz is sometimes seen as like being like this really stuffy, like complex stuff that doesn't really sound good, and only like only people who like think they're cool like to listen to jazz. No, jazz can be listenable. If you're good at it, if you're really good at it, if you're just trying to show off and be technical, okay, you're going to attract technical people. But if you're really, really good at what you do, you don't have to show off within the first 10 seconds of what you're playing. You don't need to reveal all of your cards at once. And
Jason is great too. He's a great player.
That's what he's really good at. He's good at, the slow burn, because he knows he's good. He's been playing guitar for the past, 35 years or something like that. And he, got a master's degree at Wayne State University, studying jazz guitar. When he taught me, I came to him, pretty much just wanting to learn Metallica riffs. That was pretty much the only thing I did. Sometimes he'd oblige me because, I was a paying customer, but he would try to nudge me here and there. Like, okay, well, I could teach you, the main riff to Master of Puppets. Okay. But why don't you, try learning some, the fundamentals so you could write your own stuff. So you're not just copying, what other people play.
Yeah.
And, within my first year of learning, he was already teaching me basic jazz chord progressions, licks, and I didn't do so well with that, but it was, I learned enough because jazz wasn't really my passion, but I think he was trying to teach me, not so much to teach me jazz just because that's what he wanted to play, but it was more of just kind of opening my mind a little bit to what's possible, and and like kind of build my confidence, as a player. This is not an ad for me. It sounds like it is. I'm just trying to say that like he knows like what he's doing. Like and he's made several albums, but either by himself or with the Quick Trio. Now it's the Quick Quartet. And the latest album coming out is called Low Rent Space. And I'm just going to read a little bit from their little press release.
Okay.
Not the whole thing. It says, the new recording by the Quick Quartet, a group of jazz musicians based in and around Toledo, Ohio, gives a musical answer to the question, what kind of space do you need to create something new? The answer is the title of the album, Low Rent Space, a living situation coveted by generations of jazz musicians who need all the time they can give to practicing their instrument and developing their art. Toledo, the hometown of the great genius of music, Art Tatum, has a deep history of jazz music and musicians. However, the contemporary jazz consciousness may not consider the town a center for the music. Indeed, many of the promising young talents, having begun their pursuit of the music through study at the University of Toledo and Bowling Green State University jazz and music departments, have moved on to make their careers elsewhere and in other fields. For guitarist Jason Quick, Toledo became the place to make it happen. Growing up in Livonia, Michigan, and getting a jazz studies degree from Wayne State University, he moved south to participate in a graduate assistantship program at Bowling Green State University's music department. After finishing with a master's degree in music, Quick stayed on in Northwest Ohio and eventually settled in Toledo. Low rent space in Toledo and environs gave him more opportunity to spend time practicing guitar and developing his art through composing and studying. Low Rent Space by Quick Quartet is about space and creation and a place where an idea becomes a physical thing. Huh, interesting, kind of like what we've been talking about here about WandaVision. But,
yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Vibrational, like vibranium. Okay, now I'm stretching. A vibrational presence along the axis. Axis, like, axis of time. Quick Trio, that was his previous band, has been an active performing outfit since 2012. I think before that it was like the Quick Duo, so he's like built his band over time. Having places to play gave rise to the ability to play original material, because I think they even toured like New Orleans, Louisiana a few years ago. Playing original material live gave rise to making recordings. We now present the latest in this series at the dawn of the new era of creative music and listeners. The portals are open, and the potential to reach new ears is beyond anything previously possible. This is music that we believe reaches out to all listeners from this time forward. This dynamic set of new tunes features 2 trio tracks, 3 quartet tracks, and 3 quintet tracks. The material may be considered challenging, but this group of experienced players proved to be more than up to the gig. And that's what I mean about not just showing off all of your talent in like the first 10 seconds or whatever. Like it's, they're good and they know they're good.
And I'm sure this album is going to be great. I remember when we saw him years ago in downtown Toledo at this place called Manhattan's.
Yep.
And we had this really cool experience. Kind of creepy. So we're sitting there watching him, and there's like this window behind him onto the streets of downtown Toledo. And all of a sudden a bunch of guys in military uniforms are like everywhere outside, like there was a war going on. Scared the hell out of me at first. And then we realized that they were doing some kind of training downtown for some reason that day. Like the mayor had given them permission to do training downtown. So yeah, it was
at
like
night.
at night.
At night.
Yeah, and there was like you got this like really cool jazz playing, and you got all these guys. It was like the weird juxtaposition of those two things. It was very strange.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
It would have been like a great music. Like I wish we were recording that. It would have been a great music video, because like the lighting was like all like ambient and like inside the Manhattans, and like people are like drinking their wine and eating their whatever, like, you know, he's playing like this cool, like, little jazz guitar solo, and all of a sudden you just see all of these people. Like, is there like a freaking civil war going on?
Yeah, I was like, is the world ending to jazz music?
I guess we could call it. We could say it was that would have been a movie called Jason Quicksilver.
Yes, it all comes back. It's all cyclical here.
It all comes back. Yeah. So I should tell him that should be his next album. Is called Quicksilver.
It should be.
Yeah.
Anyways, be sure to check the show notes. I'll have some stuff in there so you can check out that album. Anyways, make sure you also check out our Patreon. There's going to be stuff in there. Our website, which is still under development. That's all tooreal2.com. And we also have a TeePublic page where you can buy merchandise for our show and stuff like that. And be sure to subscribe, share the show, let us know what you think. Give us a 5-star review on the Apple stuff, and you can follow us on the Twits and the books and the Grams. Mostly at cullenpark.com. The links to that stuff will be there. Also, anything else, Matt?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Well, until next time, folks, be sure to wear a mask, wear a condom, be kind, rewind, and be good to each other.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.